This is the hardest video I've ever had to make. Hello everybody, we are back with another installment in my series of looking at my old scratch projects. Finally, I've built up my strength. I've gone away into the mountains and honed my mental acuity and bravery to look at my old art. And I am joined by a companion.
Yes, it is I, once again, GoldenMammon, returned from whatever hole I crawled out of to accompany you on this strenuous journey.
I was in the mountains, GoldenMammon was in a hole. So we're gonna look at my old art that I posted on notproper. Alright, so before we look at my old art, I'm totally not stalling here. I want to explain my theory on why art is hard for artists to look at. Why old art is hard for artists to look at. So you know that like graph of the uncanny valley. So it's pretty much a graph that shows like the more something looks human, it can be at varying levels of appealing or unappealing. When it's very unhuman looking, it kind of looks like a neutral appealing, unappealing, kind of just like whatever. And then as you progress through the graph, it steadily goes up to become more appealing, and that's where like, and eventually you get to where like cartoon characters are, which are like quite appealing. And then there's the uncanny value. As you get like almost human, but not quite, very unappealing, it's upsetting to look at. And then once you get to like very human looking, which is pretty much a real human, it looks very appealing, familiar. That's pretty much what I think old art is like. But instead of how human it is, it's like how recent the art is. Old, like really old art, it's like neutral to look at. It's like it's too old for you to really think much of it. And if gradually it improves, but then once you get to like kind of recent but not too recent, you don't want to look at it. It's painful to look at. And that's what we're gonna look at today with some of this art here. Now I'm gonna stop stalling and start looking at it. Luckily, we're not going right into uncanny valley at the start. We're going to start at some of the more beginning curves of the graph with a not-so-proper art dump. I think this art dump was like art I made like when I first started doing digital art, and I posted it on notproper. It's like a couple years worth of art in this one project. This is the first this is the first piece of digital art I ever made. Yeah. Is not proper written everywhere. I had my brand nailed down pretty early. I hope the Scatman isn't too loud. We got Kelpie doing that. This is the tyranny of McDonald's Happy Meal mascot conquering the world. And this is the creation of Handsome Squidward, obviously. And it's not proper, because I gotta stay on brand. There's no escape, so we hope you enjoy that. That's the ocean. That's a dragon. It sure is. I forgot I did this. This is a Photoshop. Well, it's not a Photoshop. It's some other program. But I did a liquefy thing on Donald Trump. I made him kind of look like Hulk Hogan. And that's a not so proper art dump. But yeah.
Through that pretty quickly.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of thoughts about some of these early stuff. This is a really cool art dump. Here's Kelpie being really cool. Let's go. This is Poultryman. This is a Hermitcraft fan art from season 6 where totally not Grian, was the Poultryman. This is a lump of flesh monster. Enjoy, everybody. This is a golem. This is actually a pretty cool design. And houses are actually fairly well done there. There's some mountains I did watercolor painting of. It's still hanging on my wall above my computer. It's like right there. Well, there goes Wolverine 7 again. This is the line that SSM says in the SSM movie number 1, part 1, where Wolverine 7 falls down a hole. And SSM's like, well, there goes Wolverine 7 again. I imagine this would be like an image for like a sitcom where Wolverine 7 does weird stuff. And that's Kisolo's son. This is Kelpie.
Yeah.
An old version of Kelpie before he became a pirate captain. And there's this character called Slubbo and Biff, which are Sloth in a Balloon. And that's the end. Enjoy the end, everybody.
I like white Kisolo.
We all like white Kisolo. Soon we will all be white Kisolo. when you say white Q Solo, it sounds like you're saying white Q Solo as in Caucasian Q Solo. Anyway, here's character compendium art dump. It's concept sketches I made for the Infernal Lords. So these are like a group of villains I made for an old world of mine that I scrapped. It still has Kelpie, and it has like an early version of Kelpie as a pirate that I returned to in Silver Road. Oh, there's Mammon as well. Mammon's important. There's some more rendered versions of some of those characters. Here's a more rendered version of Mammon. I think at the time this was like a big step for my digital art. I mean, looking back at it now, there's a lot of flaws, but for a time it was a big improvement. And here's Ursa Sam. I still think this has a pretty nice vibe. It has all this dim kind of glowy feel. Obviously, like there could be some refinement with like the art process here, like with the line work and everything. But cool vibe. And Wolverine 7 Tips to Kill the Eye of Cthulhu. I think I made this as a thumbnail for that animation. Though I think if I recall, I never actually used this for the thumbnail because YouTube wouldn't let me. Okay. I think you mean K. Why are you still here? This art dump is over, and take me to the beginning slide already. Bye. There we go. Now it's over.
Is this an Undertale reference?
Oh my gosh. So I made a few like comic projects. I don't know if I'm gonna read through all of them because that'll make this video very long. But I might just skim through them. So this is an Infernal Christmas. I took those Infernal Lords characters and like almost made a Nightmare Before Christmas style or like Grinch style plot of them taking Christmas for themselves and learning the values of the Christmas spirit. Featuring Mammon.
This one's fun because I get to hear my old music while you get to look at your old art.
It's great for both of us. Yeah, I'm not going to read through all this, but yeah. This is about them taking Christmas. Not much to say because I don't want to either. I don't say much. I like that face. I say sarcastically. I was still learning how to draw, okay? I do like this face, though, unironically. That's a good face right there. And these two faces are kind of good as well. Like, I had some good faces, I had some bad faces. Mammon became Santa. This is kind of funny. Your proportions are off there. You kind of look like a lollipop.
That's so small.
And, yeah, that's an Infernal Christmas. There's a lot of things there that look weird. Some of the odd proportions here and there, but there's some parts there that are actually kind of good by today's standards. Art dump, not boppers, not proper's birthday celebration. He's doing his Sam cosplay. It's Captain Bidbeard's new design, so I strayed away from the pirate Kelpie design to do a squid guy. Kind of looks like Davy Jones from Pirates of the Caribbean. There's stupid quotes of Tolly. I was gonna make another animation on my old account, my old YouTube, where I animate that SSM project. Got like halfway done with it or something, and never finished it. There's Bethel Bling Blossom. He's a D&D character. That was a kind of fun aesthetic. This blocking, I guess I blocked that because it's kind of violent looking. There's like puppets choking a gnome with their strings. So I could cover that. But yeah, I made this for like a D&D campaign my dad wrote. So like in school we were assigned to do album art for music albums. I chose one of the albums for the Minecraft soundtrack and made this out of like Minecraft textures, then doing perspective on them. And this comes with that earlier piece. I made this kind of look like the music discs in Minecraft with the color in the center and the pixelated thingy. Here's Not Proper graffiti art, which actually looks kind of nice. There's some similarities between like the Not Proper script here and the Silver Road logo. Similar swooshy shapes and the starry background. See, some of my tastes haven't changed. And that's the end. Art dump into another world. So I forgot to mention that a couple art dumps back was the first time I started using Photoshop. I think it was in the really cool art dump. But I think in the art here is like when I started getting familiar with how to use Photoshop and like when my art went to another level. It's still not really great by today's standards, but it was a jump. So let's see.
More of my old music.
Yeah. I still like this one. I think it's cool. Here's a Kraken. So this is like a world map of the evil area where the Infernal Lords live. Here's Smuff. So this is like the first drawing where I figure out how to like put colors and line art on separate layers on Photoshop. And I also figure out how like overlay layers work, like how gradient maps, whatever they're called. So I had fun with like the effects there. Like there's still some problems with it, like some of the anatomy is dubious, and like this legs looks kind of odd, but you know, I'm improving my like technical skill. So in a similar vein, I drew another D&D character, Soldanic. I did this background. This is like me figuring out how to do some painterly backgrounds. There's Bethel again with an updated design. Aragoth, who wasn't a D&D character, but I just made Aragoth to accompany these other like characters here, as well as Ursa-san from earlier. This is a movie poster, so we were assigned in an art class to do like B-movie style posters, and I chose to do mine for Lord's character Dolly. And this is kind of fun looking, I kind of like it. And now sketches, oh boy, I'm excited. This is, I guess, ID-ending Smuff designs. And these are some like fantasy races I designed. There's Soldanic. I had more fantasy races, and there's Aragoths. Where I could have organized these so the races were together and the characters were together, but oh well. That's the end.
I sure hope we don't get any more jump scares with my old music.
I'm not getting jump scared by your old music. I'm not you, so I think your old music is cool. Oh, for me, your music doesn't have an uncanny valley dip, but for you, it probably does.
I think the one that was in that specific project is pretty timeless.
Yeah, I like that one. Art Dump, Mammon's Grand Collection. Oh, get ready for some super fast build mode, everybody. So here's Mammon, with getting the whole gradient overlay treatment. This landscape, I've still not quite nailed down how to do landscapes, and this kind of just looks muddy and blurry. I mean, it is like a foggy swamp, but still could be poppier, crisper. Celeste Dreamworld, these are like the kind of like the ghosts in the spooky month begins project. You'll see those be like a reoccurring theme throughout my art, oddly enough. Now let's get rid of the other. This one is actually better, like an improvement. You can already see me like improving how to like use contrasts in backgrounds and actually make the elements stand out from each other. Like you can make out clear, there's a canyon, some trees, some cliffs in the sky. Those all stand out from each other. This one's kind of cool. It's a tower in the middle of like a lava lake. Kind of like the mood on this one. Like you could see just within this art dump me improving in backgrounds because I'm doing them a whole lot. It's a dragon called Feilun. So these are the 5 champions characters in the style of Don't Starve, like the character art there. And I think I nailed the style pretty well. These are kind of fun. Here's another landscape I did of Agistigland. I think at this point is when I gave the name that these characters are in, like the world is called Agistigland. So I think in this one I was trying to mimic romantic painting. This tree kind of tangents with that land there, but we don't need to pay attention to that. Oh yeah, this is when Terraria did that vanity contest where people submit designs for vanity sets, and I submitted this. It didn't win though, because it's not in the game. Here's a setting in like a fairy forest type thing. I was going for impressionist sort of look. This is a character called Scarton. That's about it really. Oh, this is fun. This is the Bethel and a Cubist cell. I think this one's pretty cool actually. And now comic of the Fan of Champions. Woo. Woo indeed. I don't know. I was starting to do more comic stuff, but I still wasn't that great at them. I'm not convinced that Smuff actually swung his sword there. He's kind of just holding it. And that's the end. Field of Dreams. So that's Prince Maximus with my Infernal Lords. This is like the first time I started drawing eyes, like not just tall ovals like I did with SSM, I think. This is the Creation of Adam by Michelangelo, but it's SSM creating Wolverine 7. Wolverine 7 like these Adam proportions in his curse, but it's in a good way. These are various characters around SSM here. Okay, this is like a drawing of the Cog, when like leader of the Infernal Lords. I tried to go kind of conceptual this one, I think. There's like this elf version of the cog that's being commanded by this demon version, and the original elf is in there being sad because they're being possessed or something. This is Pesky Bird. This is a fan art of season 7 of Hermitcraft. Green's arm looks weird, don't pay attention to it. My attempt at like a surreal sort of piece with Slud. It could be better. Yeah, I feel like this piece kind of lacks focus. Like there's not really a spot for that your eye is drawn to. It's kind of just all screaming at you at the same volume all at once. It's Captain Bitbeard, is that? It's in the Rocket Sea. Toxo Poots. I was doing a lot of renders for my villain character. So this is Pinkface, the Bomb Man. But I made him like a robot. The lighting is kind of cool in this one, actually. And that's the end. It's showtime, baby. Art dump showtime. There's Kelpie, the funkiest fella. There's a map of Akeisik Land, so this is like where all the characters that have appeared in these art dumps are here. This is before I made the Hawk Mountains or Silver Road. That's Gandalf, sure. That's my backyard. These are hills. The river looks, I mean, a bit odd, but that's a griffin. There's Bonley Bun the Fluffy Bunny. This is like my attempt to bring back Fluffy Bunny. So I gave him a top hat and a bow and said, this is the return of Fluffy Bunny. This is kind of cool. This is the cog doing dark magic stuff. Kind of like the energy in this one. And I'm starting to get a hang of like drawing faces so that they don't look weird. There's Dolly and Woodrow doing a little dance. And yeah, I think in some of these pieces is when I started doing thicker line art, which I think is when my line art starts to get more interesting looking, because they get like that thick and thin. It's sort of something I've stuck with until now. Showtime's over! Well, showtime here isn't over because I actually gotta go get water.
Hey viewers, it's me, GoldenMammon.
You saying something?
No,
well, good,
I
excellent.
was talking to your viewers.
Good. I greatly approve of the lack of talking you're doing to my viewers. Anyway, the show isn't over yet, folks. We got more stuff to look at. For a while, I was working on this, Night of the Gorge Shambler, the comic I made of Bessel and Ursasam for Halloween. We're just gonna skim through this one. Oh, it's a map. There's that woman pogging, and they're like at a market, and they're investigating gourds being spooky. And you can't really see the action too well because it's dark, and they're running. Memlik Soryak, you heard it here first, folks. Yeah, Spirit's Brew, that's spooky. Look at Ursasam being all anime over there. There it is! He's pointing at me. Am I the monster? Oh, there's a deer skeleton. That's spooky. Hungry! And then the Gorge Shambler starts chasing him. Bethel does sparkly anime powers, and he's screaming at them and is like killing them, but they're not being killed because they're too epic, and the monster's doing stuff, and then the monster's dead. And that's the end of that story. Hope you enjoyed, everybody, the Night of the Gorge Shambler. I feel like I'm building up my tolerance towards the Uncanny Valley. I think around now we're starting to dip into the Uncanny Valley a little bit, but I think I'm building up my tolerance. My bravery is building more and more as we speak. So in 2020, I started this challenge on the last 12 days of October to do redesigns of my characters in a Halloween sort of theme. And that's what I did in this art dump, along with like the regular art dump sort of stuff. There's Slud in an ice ball. There's Mammon being a political cartoon or something. I think I did this for like government or economy class or something. It was about capitalism. Oh, So this is when I was in like a mural club type thing, and we had this project where we did a Halloween zine together, like with other people in the club. I drew this to be like finish for the Frankenstein's monster there. So yeah, this is around the time when I was taking mine for lore designs and like giving the designs like spooky revamps, making them. This is separate from the 12 Days of Halloween. I just wanted to make them all spooky looking. So Prince Maximus here is like a skeleton. It kind of gives Papyrus vibes here. There's Mammon. He's back. He's all snaky. There's Nakog. He's being all spooky there. There's Cogs. This is like a new version of Professor Baldwinkle. I made him like a steampunk mad scientist. There's Toxidipoots. There's Among Us meme. I'm not the imposter. I've got a knife in my head. I'm the victim here.
Yeah.
These are some hot Among Us tips in the year 2025. So yeah, this is the 12 days of Halloween. So I took some of my characters and made them spooky looking. And yep, these are sure spooky. I like the sassy over the shoulder look here. Enjoy the spooky redesigns. I kind of did like a sketchier line coloring style here. The end. And then for Christmas, I did a similar thing. More instead of Halloweeny designs, I did Christmas designs. I started like doing more characters to expand the world of Vacation Land and the other dimensions connected to it. These are all like queens of the fairy world, and these are like the guys that like look over like the humans / other races world. One of these things is not like the other. There's the 5 champions. There's the Grim Reaper. There's Ferrito. This is another D&D character, kind of like a rock gnome, works of gems. It was for like a Ghibli inspired campaign. Yes. A lot of you are just like, here's this character is a lot of what my art in this era boils down to. It's not some, and also there's some landscapes in there as well. Oh, I did like a lineless style here. This is kind of cool looking. So yeah, I was looking at some like lineless style and like some of the scenes like Kung Fu Panda or something, and I wanted to replicate it. I think this looks pretty cool. And I did a similar troop for Mammon. Okay, so here is more 12 Days of Christmas. Let's go. Here's Soldanic presenting you soup. And yeah, we're getting awfully close to uncanny valley here, but I think I'm gonna be brave. Gotta give myself these affirmations. I say this to myself every morning. Every day I get closer to uncanny valley, but I can be brave. Anyway, here's a rather classy art dump. So more lineless style with a dragon. Ooh, this is when I played Hollow Knight. I drew the Infernal Lords in the Hollow Knight style. There's a character. Oh yeah, so in 2021, I started like trying to push my skill making comics, trying to do interesting things with comics for like one of my art classes. Here's a character. Here's a landscape. Here's a character. Here's some more comic stuff, more focusing on action this time. This is Bethel and Ursa-san doing, and that's the end. But yeah, I'm going kind of quickly through some of these pieces because a lot of them are just like, here's a character, here's a landscape. I think this might be the first one with stuff for Silver Road, or at the time called Hawk County. I think there's maybe like one piece in here. Ignore the fact that I said one piece. Like, there's one piece in here that was one of the first things for Silver Road. Here it's an enchanted art dump. There's a character. There's multiple characters. It's kind of like this dev kind of looking thing. There's a character. There's some cool black shadows. This is actually like a style I was experimenting with in 2021, where these big chunky black shadows, kind of interesting style. There's some more comic stuff I did. You can see these comics are like much better than like Infernal Lord, for example, the Infernal Christmas, for example. There's a character, there's a comic, they're going through a landscape. This time I have a landscape with characters in it. This is it's kind of cool looking forest though. So this is the first character I made for Silver Road. This is a version of a character that hasn't appeared in the story yet. I'm not gonna explain too much who they are, but yeah, this is the first character that was for Silver Road. And that's the end.
I did not know that was a Silver Road character.
Well, yeah, they're an early version of the Silver Road character that has yet to appear. There are going to be a few spoilers for characters that will eventually appear in Silver Road. I'm not going to give details on like what their role is in the story too much, or like what their arcs are. As much as I'm going to say is that some of these characters might appear in Silver Road, or they might not appear. So we'll see more of Silver Road stuff with Art Up Adventure featuring, it's him. There he is, Sam. Sam, wish me well on my journey into the Uncanny Valley. because a lot of these are like drawings of Silver Road characters, but like early designs of them. And a lot of these designs are like designs that, by my standards today, aren't great. But you know what? I'll think of Sam. I'll think of Sam wishing me well, and I'll stay strong through this. Let's go. Some more comic experimentation there. I actually have this thing on my wall, just nearby. Just some characters, more comic stuff here. Kind of going for weird, surreal dream stuff going on. So this is the map of Hawk County. This is like the first map for Silver Road. So at the time, this was just called Hawk County. I didn't come up with the Silver Road name until like a year ago. But yeah, you can see some similarities with like the mountains here. There's a big mountain there, some forest. Like if you compare this with the most recent Silver Road map, there are a lot of similarities, but there are also some differences. Sam! He's here! This is when I first drew Sam, and there's Seven as well. He kind of looks like a little baby there. But yeah, this is when Seven was not a raccoon, he was a Wolverine instead, and the pun was that he was based on Wolverine 7. And Sam is actually based on SSM, because Sam kind of sounds like SSM. It was just like taking SSM and making him a cool guy. The thing about these designs is that they haven't changed all that much since I first did them. They changed a little bit. I like refined some of them, but they're still pretty similar. But I'm scared I'm going to get to some characters soon where the designs are more different. Not quite yet. We still got a couple more pieces to go, apparently. Is like a comic cover style thing. It's kind of fun. I like the things down here. Alright, so this is the first Guyana. I'm like looking at it from the periphery of my vision because I don't really like it, but so yeah, this is the first design of Guyana. I'm going through the 5 stages of grief right now. So I don't really like the design. I don't know what to say besides I don't like it. This is what I'm scared of.
Fine. He's cute.
Yeah, sure. And this over here was this is like the precursor to Astery. It was like a different character, but I was taking the concept of giving Guyana like a best friend character, and this is the first character for that. Anyway, let's move on from that. I got through that one. Nope. I'm going crazy. All right, so this is a more comedic comic. I was trying all sorts of different things with comics in 2021. Trying to learn. Oh jeez, I'm still recovering. Here's some attempts to like redesign notproper and Kisolo to fit into Silver Road. He's making a garnish burger, of course.
This did inspire me to give Kisolo blue scales.
Yeah, I made the first blue Kisolo. His neck doesn't completely make sense of where the clothing is, but you know. Look, I don't learn anatomy really until later. These are attempts to put Kelpie, Biff, and Slubbo in Silver Road. A lot of my early characters in Silver Road was like taking characters from elsewhere and putting them into Silver Road. There's a character, there's some characters, and there's some more comic stuff, and there's a character. This is like the first idea for like a big bad main villain for Silver Road. This idea eventually got scrapped. It's gonna be like a Vulture Queen sort of deal. Oh, this is Nisril from that game I made. Nisril's magic pickaxe. And there's Sam from the map art we did on the Minecraft server. And the Beatles map as well. Sam, your strength has kept me going, Sam. And for that, I thank you. And that's the end of Art of Adventure. I feel like that was probably the bottom of the Uncanny Valley there. Because I struggled looking at that first Skyline design. I didn't really like it. But I think hopefully it only gets better from there. It was good to see Sam though. Sam's here to keep me strong. Here's a glorious art dump. Prove it, where's Sam? That's not Sam, it's a comic. The news is kind of cool though. There's a comic thing there with like swooshy lines. Ursus and Bethel on like a supernatural investigation. And there's a sour creature after them. Landscape with some ruins. This is like a pixel art. I was thinking my intention was to make this for like the Hawk County setting where there would be some ancient ruins in there. That's a character. That's a character. And so this is Guyana again. And this is like the first version of Astery here, when the first version of Astery was like she was a dryad like Guyana, but eventually she became like a slime person, and also she was a ghost. She was a ghost separated from her body, and there's Sam and Seven. The only reason I am not going insane while looking at this piece is because Sam and Seven are here wishing me well. There's a character. So that first Silver Road character from earlier, Tira, is like, there's a different design here. There's a character. This is going to be a Silver Road character that was scrapped. It was going to be like a little boy who had like magical toys or something. There's this thing. I think it was going to be like an ancient eldritch being or something. At this point, I was still developing my Geeseland story alongside the Silver Road story, though eventually I did scrap the Geeseland story. Being a robot. Okay, cool. It is the end. It is the end, but not the end of this video yet, because there's still a few more to go. The ultimate art dump. Hello. So this is the art dump I made when I became inactive on Scratch. I still made art dumps after I left Scratch, quote unquote, because Scratch was the place I was putting my art until later. The last official art dump, I guess. The ultimate art dump. There's Sam there. He's wishing us well yet again. It's me, iPad Mammon. This is me experimenting with drawing using Photoshop on my iPad. There's some characters. It's me. That's me right there. It's like my first drawing of myself that I started using for like profile pictures. There's a character. There's Mammon's Tower. There's some characters. So this is for Rinto from earlier. I think I was going to put these guys in Silver Road, but then I scrapped that. And this is another D&D character I had called Sprouts. It was going to be a druid. There's a raccoon cop. Kind of fun drawing here, eating the donut and the bag. The concept is still kind of fun. This character did get scrapped because I didn't know what to do with them, but it was fun. Pinnacle City, capital of Geeseland. This is a concept for a city that was built on top of like a spire coming out of the ocean. For my Geeseland setting. Don't mind the monsters in the sea there. That's not a problem. The 5 champions with Silver Road sword designs. I wasn't actually planning to put them in Silver Road, but if they were in Silver Road, this is what they could look like. I like Bethel's scarf. We're crawling out of the uncanny valley, y'all. I can feel myself crawling out. Oh wait. We have to do this one. So light the blue moon. Disregard that. Disregard that comment I made about crawling out of the uncanny valley. We're not out yet. So this is kind of like the non-canon Chapter 0 to Silver Road. This is the first comic I made in the Hog County setting. Totally different canon from Silver Road now, but it was using those characters, early versions of those characters. You know what? Sam's in here somewhere. He's in here. He features in here. Let's let that give me strength. I'm just going to skim through. I'm not going to read the whole thing like we did the other comics. But yeah, so these are like, there's Guyana again, early version, and there's at the time she was called Ronnie instead of Astery. I decided to call her Astery because Elden Ring stole the name Ronnie from me, personally. So yeah, they're at a campsite. There's Sam and Seven. They're here to wish us well, and they're hanging out, and now Ronnie's a real girl. Except she's still a ghost, but the friends can see her. And yeah, they're telling a campfire story. And they're going up a hill to... Oh, these are like the spooky ghosts from that project. They came back for this chapter here. As I said earlier, they're like a reoccurring theme in my art for some reason. So yeah, they're going up a hill to see a ghost. That's totally not a concept I reuse later. There's a evil frog guy. And they're fighting. So Guyana was still using vines there. Seven and people. There's Sam. He runs them over with his motorcycle, and the ghosts are doing that, whatever that is. And then I think the evil frog ghost gets redeemed, and they're chilling. And Sam wishes them well. All right, I got through that for Sam. So yeah, that was like the first sort of comic I did with the Silver Road characters. So yeah, we're getting to the art dumps that I made like after becoming inactive on Scratch. I just posted these on Scratch because I wanted somewhere to put these drawings on before I started posting them elsewhere. I did 12 Days of Halloween again, but in 2021, I did it with the Silver Road characters. Let's go. So yeah, we're starting with 12 Days of Halloween. There's a character I don't use. It's a character I don't use. Character I don't use. It's not proper kind of character. There's 7. He's
call it the mics, bro.
He's feral. Sam is also feral. There's Ronnie is also feral, and Guyana is feral. And there's some other characters. Yeah,
that's closer to her current design.
Everyone's feral. We'll see more of this later, but that is like closer to. That's the first time I made a Guyana design that I liked. We'll see more of that later. And then I did 12 Days of Christmas again. So yeah. The character I don't use, character I don't use, character I don't use. What are you doing with that match, buddy? Yep, there's Ronnie, and there's Guyana. And 7, he's Santa's little helper. And there's Sam, wishing us well. Goodbye, Sam. Thanks for wishing me well. It's not so bad now. I climbed out of the uncanny valley. So this is pretty much the art dump that compiles everything I made in like the second half of 2021 after I became inactive on Scratch. So there's a lot of months worth of art here. Let's see. Yeah, there's a character. It's Bethel being weird. So I was doing like these are portraits of my characters I did in Illustrator, which is like a vector program. It was kind of fun style. Character. This is the
castle.
Yeah, totally. This is the build I made in our Minecraft server, and I redrew it. Oh yeah, I had an assignment to make like small world style postcards. I was assigned Papua New Guinea. Kind of fun. So yeah, this is the first Guyana design that I liked. It's kind of more similar to the current design. Few changes, like the hair is different. And she has like torn jeans now, but otherwise pretty similar. And there's Sam as well, wishing us well. I remember when doing this, I liked the energetic feel of the line work as well. I think this is also when I started taking figure drawing classes and like figuring out what anatomy is. This was an assignment where we did like Illustrator versions of tarot cards, and I did a tree burning down for the tower. There's a character I don't use. So yeah, this is 7 and Ronnie, the old version of Astery. Here's an early version of a Corley. She was also once a dryad, but now she's like a water elf kind of person. And also Sam and 7 are there because they're my emotional support characters. This is when an assignment I got to like take genres, put them together, and make a movie poster out of it. So I was assigned the genres of, I think, body swap and like a crime procedural kind of thing, and the poster had to have like an adventure movie sort of look. So I did this. That's me. It's another drawing of me. Well, hello? Is spooky? Hello? R. There it is. There's a spooky creature. This is another D&D character I made, who was like a Harengon ranger, but he was like aristocratic. This is a character that has yet to appear in Silver Road. You can worry about that later. And there's a character. There's Guyana. And there's a character, kind of like a concept for a character in Silver Road that I haven't ended up using. I don't know, maybe. There's like the main Silver Road characters in the style of Amori, like when they look into the mirror, and like your friends smile warmly behind you, and more Mori fan art, but instead with Space Boy drawing my style. In my current opinion, I didn't make him twinky enough, but that's all for now.
What would make him more twinky in your opinion?
He looks too angular in that one. Like Space Boy, he's like a boy, you know. All right, and then this is the final art I put on Scratch for the first half of 2022. So we got Tira again, another redesign. This is a concept for a location in Silver Road, like a floating island, kind of inspired by Otherworld from Amori. This is when like Ronnie first started getting like a meteor sort of theme, and it's kind of like the start of her transition into being Astery. This is another map of the Hawk Mountains. It's gradually becoming more familiar to what it is now. There's Gaia and Sam chilling. This is a character that has yet to appear in Silver Road. This is another character that's yet to appear in Silver Road, also as a Dryad. I'm just going to say they're not going to be a Dryad. And yeah, these are some vector portraits I did of Silver Road characters. So yeah, we got Guyana, Sam, Seven, Ronnie, Aquarle, and also character that has yet to appear. This is like the early concept for Samilla. This is like before she was a mad scientist. Instead, she was going to be like a glamorous celebrity, and like on the outside she seems like beautiful, but on the inside she's a hideous sea hag. There's the same character who has yet to appear. This is the Silver Road main characters, but they're staring at you intimidatingly. It's kind of fun.
Feels Steven Universe coded.
It kind of is. Steven Universe is like the basis of my style, kind of. Almost like an illustration of a location in Silver Road, with just like some filler characters. They don't really matter, but it was, yeah. Just some characters at a spooky, weird lab and a UFO. There's a picture of Guyana chilling. There's all the characters chilling. Watching like a scary movie on computer, just Undertale music. And there's a ghost in the background, but only Guyana sees it because she sees the ghost. There's another version of Aquarle. There's a character that's yet to appear alongside Sam and Seven. Oh, I forgot I made this. It's like a little comic. Hold on, this is only like one page. I'll read it. It seems I am stuck on this planet. Hey, maybe we can fix your ship. You may not want to stay here. The government won't stop bothering you, and everyone will want your picture. Not to make you feel unwelcome or anything. Ronnie. Huh? Oh, sorry. There's them just interacting with an alien. Another version of the character is yet to appear. There's them at Garnish Burger. I'll read this as well. So it's like a regular burger, but has garnish, so it's fancy. Sure. And wouldn't you know it, that's the end of this video. That's the end of my art dumps. I've gone through it. I've gone through the crucible and come back stronger. Hope you all learned something from that. Alright. I want to check out these messages. They have been gradually accelerating since I've been recording these videos. And I just want to check out, I'm just going to open this. I was wondering if there was going to be some sort of like conspiracy here with all these unread messages. But no, it just seems like people interacting with my projects normally.
We did it.
We did it. We looked at my old Scratch projects, and you have seen the evolution of my art between the years 2016-ish to 2022-ish. So yeah, that's all. That's pretty much all my Scratch projects that I'm bothering to do a video of, and all my art dumps on notproper. So thanks for watching, everybody. And really, really, truly remember that Sam wishes you well.